edition of PS's Sports. I'm your host and mediator, Sequoia Hood, alongside with
Andre Davis. How you doing, Sequoia?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing just fine.
All right.
About time you addressed me.
Oh,
I'm Alex Goodwin. How you doing, Sequoia? You all right?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
I'm all right.
Doing just fine.
Blessed to
Everybody
see another
good?
day.
It's
Everyone
Wednesday.
just started?
Always, always.
All right. First and furthermost, we're going to go straight into the NFL. The Broncos and the 49ers have been discussing trade talks with Colin Kaepernick and pretty much for a mid-pick draft. But Kaepernick does not want to take a pay cut of his $11.9 million salary. So what should he do? Should he take the pay cut or no? Let's go with you first.
Well, looking at it from a player standpoint, I do know that Colin Kaepernick is looking at money guaranteed by the 49ers, which is the $11.9 million. And honestly, I don't know too many players there are some, but there aren't that many players that are willing to surrender dollars that are pretty much guaranteed in their bank account. But from a football standpoint, with that being said, I feel like Kaepernick should look beyond that at this point. The reason why is because as a professional athlete, what is your leverage in terms of trade negotiations? Your play on the field. Your play on the field is your trade negotiations. And as of Kaepernick's coming off of 3 major injuries. And as of last season, his play on the field has really wiped him out of the negotiation picture. I mean, we can go back to 2013 when he led the 49ers to the Super Bowl against Ravens, even though they were unsuccessful. He had a good year that year. But if I'm an owner, my motto is, what have you done for me lately?
Right.
And as of last season, starting 8 games before being benched and replaced by Blaine Garrett, where he threw for 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 4 of which I remember was in the game against Arizona. So with that being said, I feel like he should definitely go to Denver, where he would be surrounded by the best defense in the NFL. When I read this, I said that this was a good move for Kaepernick because what he needs is a change of scenery, and he'll be able to play to the defense. And what I mean by that is when you're a quarterback and you're able to play to the defense, you don't have to put up 30-plus points a night just to win the game, meaning you won't have the entire workload to yourself. So with that being said, he should definitely go to Denver.
Alex?
I completely, wholeheartedly disagree.
So why do you disagree?
Let me explain it to you like this. As bad as Colin Kaepernick was last season, like as you alluded to, Andre, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in only 8 starts. He only completed 57% of his passes. He knows this year is the last year he's going to be able to make this kind of money. And with the way the NFL is set up with non-guaranteed contracts, you have to make your money when you can. Here's the other thing we also have to think about. In this Chip Kelly offense, he can be extremely successful. I don't think they're going to win a whole lot of games, but this might be a really good offense for him. And the other thing, as you alluded to with the Broncos defense, he doesn't have to put up 30 points. There's only going to be one quarterback that's going to be able to be bad in that Gary Kubiak offense, and that's Peyton Manning. Just one. We're not going to let anybody else. We let Peyton Manning be horrible last year, and everybody pretty much gave him a pass. We're not going to let Colin Kaepernick sit up there and stink up the joint week after week after week and just going to be like, oh, well, you know, he's just, and make excuses for him. Nobody's going to do that. I say make your money, stay in San Francisco, and if you get cut, so be it. Make your money while you can, my brother.
He should.
But I think that with that, it depends on how much of a pay cut it is.
They're asking him to take a $5 million pay cut.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
if
they ask me to take a $5 million pay cut, I'm not going to do it.
He should. Kaepernick has the opportunity to he has the opportunity to be a starting quarterback against the defending Super Bowl champs. Now, even if he doesn't take the Broncos to the Super Bowl, which I'm not predicting that they're going to win a Super Bowl this year, even if he plays well this season, there's no doubt that the Broncos are going to pay him for his services.
But the problem is with the Broncos and their offense isn't very good. They have a shoddy offensive line. Ronnie Hillman and C.J. Anderson aren't that great. They just have two really good wide receivers. I'm not going to take a $5 million pay cut to go with the offense that's just mediocre. I'm not going to do that. That's hustling backwards to me. I'm sorry.
I still agree to disagree because I understand your point. I understand your point as well. You know, why move from, for the 49ers a fairly team.
No, they're sorry. They're sorry.
They're horrible.
You know,
I feel like
a bad team to, the Broncos, which, they won Super Bowl, of course, but at the same time, when it comes to offensive wise, they're not that strong. So taking $5 million pay cut to go to, I understand, unless it's a popularity contest. for sure go ahead, go to the Super Bowl team.
I mean, with things like that, you have to just look at the future. I mean, he's still a young quarterback, you know. So this could be a blessing in disguise.
This is probably, let's say this, because I truly do believe this is the last time he's going to be able to make that kind of money. The bad part about it is he signed that horrible contract in 2014, which gave the 49ers the opportunity to get from up under his contract this year. They didn't, and they kept him. So now that his salary is guaranteed for this season, why on earth would I slash my earnings in half when he knows good and well he might not be able to make that next year on the open market, if and when he gets cut?
Well, moving on. Robert Griffin III signed with the Cleveland Browns. So was this a good move for him or no? And I'm gonna go with you first, Alex.
When this move was announced, Sequoia texted me and told me this, and I told Sequoia right then, Robert Griffin made a horrible decision. Everybody knows that Cleveland is a wasteland for quarterbacks. The Cleveland Browns have had 24 starting quarterbacks since 1999. Great guys like Doug Peterson and Tim Couch and Coy Detmer, Charlie Fry. Those names ring a bell? All-time greats, aren't they? No. Even worse, the team that they have now is devoid of any major talent. The talent that they did have on last season's team offensively, Pro Bowl center Alex Mack signed with the Falcons. Wide receiver Travis Benjamin, he signed with the Chargers. So the cupboard's even more bare than it already was. Everybody does allude to the fact that Josh Gordon may be coming back off of suspension, but if he has one wild night out with Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa, he's back on the shelf. And my final point is this. Robert Griffin signed with the Cleveland Browns, and they still may draft a quarterback.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure, I don't understand why he would sign to a team, and he still may end up being the backup quarterback behind a rookie.
Well, where else do you think he should have went?
The Jets, they're a much better team, strong running game, great defense with Darrelle Revis, Buster Screen, Muhammad Wilkerson, and those guys up front. He could have signed with them. That's a better overall team and a better overall nucleus of talent around him. But I will say this: the one caveat to signing with the Cleveland Browns is that their new head coach Hugh Jackson is a quarterback whisperer. He made Andy Dalton look good. So if he can make Andy Dalton look good, hopefully he can make Robert Griffin look good.
Add his name on the jersey that hangs in Cleveland. The jersey with the list of all of their quarterbacks and crossed out from which one left.
That's a bad idea.
So he'll be at the end of that list.
I give him 2 years. 2 years, then he's gone. Two
2 years.
So what is your opinion?
Well, although I am a bit disappointed that he didn't come to Dallas, Lord knows we could use him and a bunch of other things. But with that being said, I didn't necessarily say that this was a bad move for RG3. I didn't necessarily say it was a bad move. I mean, although RG3 is coming off from injury seasons, I mean, he's still young. He's only 26 years old. He's still young. He's still athletic. And I feel like this would definitely give him opportunity to compete. Because as Alec did mention, now that they signed RG3 to a 2-year, $15 million deal, now that they've done that, the Cleveland, they don't feel pressure into drafting a quarterback at number 2. They're still going to. I'm saying they're still considering it, but now they don't feel pressure into doing it. And whether they do bring in a young rookie quarterback, whether it be Carson Wentz or whoever, this definitely going to give RG3 the opportunity to compete, because honestly, we really haven't seen anything from RG3 since his rookie year that's worth talking about. We really haven't. So therefore, when he do go to Cleveland, he's going to have to earn every opportunity that he gets. So,
I mean, I'll say this. Part of the reason, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. Part of the reason he had issues in Cleveland, in Washington, was because Mike Shanahan tried to run him into the ground. This man was on one leg in that playoff game, and Mike Shanahan continued to call 22 read, continued to call option plays. That was idiotic.
I remember that. But besides that game, though.
Besides that, he rushed back too early because he knew they wanted Kirk Cousins to be the quarterback. He got stuck behind that horrible offensive line, and he got beat like he stole something. That's just the God-honest truth. We've seen him play at a high level, yes, we have, but I'll say this again. Cleveland is where careers and quarterbacks go to die.
But at the end of the day, now that he is at Cleveland, like I said, pretty sure that Cleveland's still going to draft a rookie quarterback. So, and when they do, he's definitely going to, even though we're expecting to see him start in September, he's definitely going to compete for in training camp.
I'm going to pray for him.
All right, so moving on, you guys. This past weekend was a big weekend in Houston, and for all you college basketball fans, the NCAA tournament was held in Houston this weekend. And I must say, with the Final Four, the first night of the games, you guys, I'm sorry, that was disappointing.
That's what I said, same
It was
thing.
blowout central, like, it was very, very disappointing. But the championship game made it worthwhile.
Yes,
Do you
it
understand? Villanova and North Carolina, it was a great game. It was a classic game, hands down. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? I'm going to hit you first.
Well, you know, definitely we did see this game go down to the wire. And like you said, I must say this was a very incredible national championship game. You know, in the first half, we saw Villanova and North Carolina battle. It almost like they was trading buckets. Although we did see North Carolina take the lead in the first half. Now, getting to the second half, we kind of saw North Carolina just kind of play with that, maybe it was just me, but kind of saw North Carolina play with that same pace that they played in the first half. Versus Villanova, we kind of saw them pick up the tempo a little bit. They was running the floor better. They was getting more transition buckets. And because of that, the result was not only did Villanova take the lead in the second half, but they kept the lead for nearly the entire second half. Now, jumping to the end of the second half, the last two shots, the shot that North Carolina took to tie the game up at 74, and the shot that Villanova took to tie the game, to win the game at 77. I must say, if the roles were reversed and North Carolina took that same shot to win the game, I wouldn't have been disappointed. Because if we go back to that play was guarded. That play was nearly guarded to perfection by Villanova, and it still went in. Versus the last shot that was guarded by North Carolina. I don't know if it was a lack of awareness between North Carolina. I mean, I'm not going to take anything from Coach Roy Williams, because I'm pretty sure he was in that huddle telling them, hey, this is the last few seconds of the game. We need to guard the perimeter and everything. But it's just like on that last play, there was nothing but a hand in his face. When it's the last few seconds of the game, you can't just put a hand in somebody's face. He literally had a clear shot to the basket. So, but overall, I still say it was a disappointing of the outcome, but was a great game overall.
You were there personally.
I was.
How was your experience?
Man, it was excellent. I'll say the atmosphere in Reliance Stadium. Oh, I'm sorry.
NRG.
Everybody calls it NRG now. I'm from Houston, Texas. We call it Reliance Stadium. It always will. It always has and always will be Reliant to us. All right? That was an excellent game. Excellent. The atmosphere was great. The fans were into it. It was like Andre alluded to, it was going back and forth the entire night. Every time I thought Villanova was going to put them away, Carolina and Marcus Page and Meeks and the rest of the guys, they came and continued to battle back. And I'll just say this, as Andre said, those last two possessions were two of the most incredible shots I've ever seen. The first one by Marcus Page especially, because that was some of the worst shooting form I have ever seen in my entire life. And to the final shot, I've never seen worse coverage of final play in my life. Yeah. I've never seen worse. You're on a play like that with 4 seconds left, you know they're trying to travel the length of the court. You've got to stop the ball. They didn't do that. They didn't put a hand in Kennedy's face, and he nailed the three. That part exasperated me a bit on how such a great game came down to such a small mental error and lapse. But all in all, it was a great game coached by two great coaches in Jay Wright and Roy Williams, and two great teams. And it certainly made up for those beatdowns I had to suffer through on Saturday night.
Yes, Saturday games was
horrible.
It was horrible.
But the thing about it is, when it comes to the big shot, you know, the shot that was taken by Villanova at the last seconds, it pretty much overpowered the shot that
Marcus Page took.
Yes, that he took.
It did.
I mean, think about it. It's like
because nobody remembers the loser.
Yeah,
exactly.
Nobody remembers it. Just like when we go take it back to Super Bowl when Seattle was playing the Broncos.
Which one? Which Super Bowl?
Last year, but the year before last.
The one where Darryl Belva called the worst play in history?
Exactly.
Oh, that play, yes.
But right before that, they just had a great play.
By Doug Baldwin, yes.
Exactly.
You're right.
It's just I don't know. Like I say, and I'm not knocking. I'm pretty sure, as great of a coach as Roy Williams is, I'm pretty sure
he's all right.
He's a great coach.
Yeah.
Roy Williams is great. I'm pretty sure he was in that huddle telling his guys, hey, guard the perimeter. Because as a great coach, you with last few seconds left, that's what you tell your players. But if I'm in that huddle, I'm saying, look, we're gonna guard the perimeter. Meaning like when your player gets the ball,
you're going to guard somebody.
I want your hand in his face.
Yes.
And I want you all up in his face. I want y'all like y'all practically dating.
Space. You have to.
Exactly.
Because it goes to show that defense wins games, regardless of how many points you make.
It almost seemed like they weren't aware of their lack of awareness on that last play.
No, they knew. They just didn't execute.
Yeah.
They knew.
That's even worse.
They knew. They just didn't execute.
All right. So another thing that happened this weekend was some legends, some greats like Allen Iverson, Shaquille O'Neal, and surprisingly Yao Ming were announced inductees into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
I'm ready to hear what he got to say.
Now, I understand Allen Iverson, game changer, understandable.
Icon.
Shaquille O'Neal, the big Aristotle, Shaq Diesel, understandable.
Shaq Fu.
Yao Ming?
Y'all better show Yao Ming some love. You better show Yao Ming some love.
Well, he you know, out of the 8 years he spent at Houston, they went to playoffs 4 times. That's a lot.
No, but nobody gets a participation trophy. This is not YMCA soccer.
Honestly, though, they said that Yao Ming has become an inductee because of the stuff that he did off the court, saying that he opened up the NBA to, China, so,
That's
to
true.
everywhere else. But, I mean, I'm quite sure we have other foreign people in the NBA, but, I'm just going to leave it there. What do you think?
There is no reason Yao Ming should be inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. As you alluded to, everybody's making the argument that he should have been inducted because he was able to globalize the sport of basketball. But last time I checked, everybody else is judged off their performance on the floor. And his performance on the floor, while good, it's not Hall of Fame worthy. In his 8 seasons, he averaged 19 points and 9 boards per game, but his teams never won anything. Like you said, they made it to the playoffs 4 times, but they never made it past the second round. Not once. Not the team with not even when he teamed with Tracy McGrady. He was injury prone. He only played 2 full seasons.
Well,
just 2. And quite frankly, his resume, if we're judging off of resumes, this man should be nowhere near the Hall of Fame.
Out of his career total points, he had 9,200
That's
points.
Oh, and where does that put him on the all-time list? Tell me.
4,494 rebounds.
That's fine. Let me ask one question.
120 blocks.
Can I ask one question? How are you 7'6", but you never led the league in rebounds one time? Can somebody explain that to me?
Speaking of that,
somebody please explain that to me.
Speaking of that, I want to ask y'all something. Because I was actually going around and asking people this question. I was like, what do you guys feel about Yao Ming being inducted into the Hall of Fame with Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson? And I got some pretty good answers, but there was just one answer that just really, I don't know, I guess it just really stunned me a little bit. But y'all my people, so I'm here. I'm gonna ask y'all and just tell me.
Is this gonna upset me?
It might. It probably will. Just tell if I was a little simple-minded as far as my thinking. So I asked this guy. I said, "So what do you think about Yao Ming being inducted into the Hall of Fame?" And his only answer, as far as reasoning, was, "Well, I mean, if you go back to the early part of his career, I mean, he was a one-man blocking machine." And I said to myself, "He was 7'6" tall. You should be a blocking machine. If I'm the owner of a team and I sign a 7'6" dude on my team, your only job is to get rebounds, put rebounds back up, and throw shots out the arena. By the end of the game, you should have 10 rebounds. So and that's, as Alex alluded to, as far as being more than that, exactly. And as Alex alluded to, he was very injury prone. If it wasn't his feet, his knees, his toe, his ankles, and any other lower parts of the area that comes with being that large.
I think the problem that we really have is that you have Shaquille O'Neal, you have Allen Iverson, which everyone holds the highest pedestal, and then you have him being inducted with these real Hall of Famers, these real guys that made a difference in the NBA.
You got this average dude
and then
with
you have
him.
somebody else that comes, alongside with them like he was just as good. You
No,
know what I mean?
and that's my entire point. And everybody,
and that's the reason why I feel as though everyone has a problem with, or has an eyebrow like kind of raised, like shoulder shrug.
And that's kind of me right now. I'm more of a shoulder shrug. I mean, I'm over yay or
this is horrible. No. Absolutely not. Shout out to Tom Izzo, great coach. But that is a bad why. Nobody can give me a real good qualified argument as to why Yao Ming ought to be in the Hall of Fame. Like I said before, out of all people, 19-9, that should not get anybody into the Hall of Fame. He's never won anything, nothing. This man has won nothing. I mean, 8 All-Star appearances, but that was a popularity contest. I really don't like counting that sometimes.
Well, you gotta add diversity in there. You know.
I mean, when he came to the league, he was very vital to the sport. Before he came to the league, we hadn't really seen. I mean, other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if I'm leaving anybody out, y'all let me know. But just this freakishly large Chinese man, 7'6", that stand in my paint. I mean, we really haven't seen anything.
Somebody that freakishly large, Manute Bol.
Does this mean that
Manute Bol.
years to come, Jeremy Lin is going to be next? Because he's opening up the NBA to global.
Truth be told, the NBA started becoming globalized in 1992 with the Dream Team. If we're going to be completely honest about it, Yao Ming just helped. He wasn't the pioneer in any shape, form, or fashion. He just jumped on the bandwagon. I'm not saying he jumped on the bandwagon as he just hopped on a moving train as if he saw it, but I'm saying he just so happened to be Chinese and play in the NBA, so that helped. He's no pioneer. Yao Ming has no business being enshrined in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
At least not. I'm undecided. I'm kind of undecided right now. I'm in the middle. It definitely rose an eyebrow when they said
if it was two different candidates alongside with him.
I don't care who it is.
O'Neal and Allen Iverson, some guys that was kind of below average or a little bit that's not as great.
Nope.
Would it justify him
being
in?
Nope.
No.
Y'all aren't convincing me on this one.
Like I say, I'm still undecided at this point. I need more time to ponder on this. I know his mind is already made up. I'm still need time to ponder on this.
At this point, you're still a shoulder shrug.
I'm still sure. I need time to just ponder on this a little bit and think about it more.
No.
Absolutely, positively not.
Well, I'm a shoulder shrug as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in with us. This is all we have for you today. And remember, I am Sequoia Hood.
And I'm Andre Davis.
And I'm Alex Goodwin.
And this is PS Sports.